What's going on, everyone? I'm Tier 1 Collections. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Ascended Heroes by taking some price input from Mega Dream, looking at those top 10 cards, seeing if those translate to English so we can be ready for the release day of Ascended Heroes. I hope you enjoy. Number 10 on the list is Psyduck, Illustration Rare. I think in English, this card is going to be significantly more valued. It's probably going to be really high on release date. I'm not suggesting in this video that you pick these up immediately. I think that you should take some time and let the price settle after the release date. We'll see a little bit more as the pre-release comes in. But I think Psyduck is definitely going to be the most valuable illustration rare. It is about $16-ish to $20-ish in Japanese and Mega Dream at the moment. I could easily seeing it being 75, kind of very similar to Misty Psyduck from Destined Rivals. I think that Psyduck has a much more buyer populace in America than it does in Japan. So I think that we're going to see Psyduck be pretty expensive on release day, but I think it will probably settle around $50. So that's my number 10. Number 9 on this list is Metagross EX, Steven's Metagross to be exact. This card is one of my favorites personally. I just love Metagross, and I think Steven was a absolutely sick character in the game. Judge me if you want, but this is number 9 because I think that it's actually, we're seeing kind of a prismatic effect on a card like this. It just because of the room that it's in with the rest of the banger cards in this set, it's kind of being undervalued. I think it now, right now, sitting at Mega Dream, it is in the top 10, but for it only being a $40 card for what it is, I think is an absolute crime. If this was in a set, you know, like a Phantasmal or something like that, maybe not with the Mega Zard, but it would be in a league of its own. I think it's just an absolutely amazing card. It kind of gives me vibes of like Dragapult from Prismatic or Blood Moon or Saluna, stuff like that. But Metagross is even a more classic character than that, so I think it's even in a league of its own when it comes to stuff like that. So that's number 9. Marnie's Grimmsnarl is number 8. Another very similar to Steven's Metagross. Super sick card. I just really like the, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge vibe. Same thing with Destined Rivals Journey Together. Like putting the trainer in there just makes it way cooler. It kind of gives the Pokemon itself more meaning. I love this Grimmsnarl card. I actually pulled it from one of the Mega Dream boxes, so I'm super hype about that. I did send it to PSA, but I think right now this card is sitting at 45 to 50 bucks in Japanese, so it's just ahead of that Metagross. I think that they're going to be pretty similar. I think they kind of give the same vibe, so I wouldn't be surprised if it sits around 50 to 100 bucks after, a week or two after release, after, we get a healthy flow into the market once the supply gets up. So Marnie's Grimmsnarl is number 8. Number 7 on this list is Iono's Bellibolt. Now, this card is really interesting. It's kind of a different background that we normally get, really pink and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of a new vibe that you're getting in this card. On top of that, they've already gotten an Iono's Bellibolt, but this one's significantly better in my opinion. It's sitting at about 60 bucks, just under that in Mega Dream right now. I could easily see this being like $80, $90 card after a little bit of, supply from once Ascended Heroes actually comes out. Iono's kind of a staple. And again, it's really hard to predict this when we're talking about Japanese female trainer cards because those typically have a higher end. So I could see this and Marnie's Grimmsnarl kind of being neck and neck there for the 8 and 7 spot. Number 6 on this list is Zoroarch. I think that this card is really interesting. Again, we're kind of looking at, it's just another version of the Journey Together card, and it's significantly better in every way. I'm not a huge fan of N or Zoroarch, but I think that this card is really cool. This card's sitting at about 80 bucks. It was really high on the release of Mega Dream, about double. It was about like 150, 160. I think this is going to be about $100 in English. Again, we have to keep in mind when it comes to Ascended Heroes versus Mega Dream that there is no booster box to help with the pull rates in this matter. We're going to have to pay for the ETBs. That's going to be the biggest product. They might drop a collection box like Paldean Fates down the road or like Blooming Waters for 151. On these holiday sets, it's really hard to pull these cards. On top of that, when you have Phantasmal Flames, you have 4 SIRs, and in Prismatic, you have 50 something SIR. So again, the pool that you're pulling these things out of is really, really hard. So, but I think Zoroarch is definitely really, really solid, and it's going to be up there in price. All right, number 5 is the new Rockets Mewtwo for Mega Drain. This card is another really interesting one. They really went crazy with some of these arts. This is the start where these cards are going to be really, really high. To me, this is actually one of the few times that I think this one's actually worse than the previous version, i.e. the Destined Rivals one. With the top 5 cards in this set, I think we're going to see kind of a Destined Rivals type of thing where none of them are like super far and above and away like the best. Obviously, the Mewtwo is the best in Destined Rivals, but it's not, you know, like a Sunbreon versus the next card down. You know, there's not $1,000 gap between them. So specifically with this one, I think it's definitely going to be 200 plus. I think all the top 5 cards are going to be over 200. Unfortunately, this is going to be harder to pull than the other Rockets Mewtwo, just simply because it's in a holiday set and not a booster box. So that's number 5. Number 4 on this list is Mega Dragonite. Now, this is a really, really cool card, and I know that it is a little bit higher in the Japanese structure. I just think as once this hits the United States, I don't think it's going to be as well received. It has grown on me specifically, but I still think that there is a little bit more to be desired with the Mega evolution of Dragonite. Dragonite's a very, very popular Pokemon, but I don't think it's generally like the best design. Now, the card itself is very, very cool. It's still going to be expensive. I would probably say it's going to be about 300. It's sitting right now about 200 in Japanese. That is the number 4 spot. Number 3, and this is my personal favorite on the list, is the Pikachu EX. Now, we got the rainbow borders coming back on this one specifically, and this is 2 tiers above the Pikachu from Surging Sparks. Now, this Pikachu is a little less expensive than the Dragonite in Japanese, though I think in English they will be very, very similar as they are in Japanese. But I think Pikachu will edge it out by maybe 10, 20 bucks. Specifically, when we look at Surging Sparks, the Pikachu SIR from that set, there was a lot of craze behind that card, and I remember there was a lot of animosity towards it because it wasn't the coolest one. I think that this card actually backs it up and is about it. That's the number 3 spot. The number 2 spot is Mega Dragonite, the Mega Hyper Rare, the gold card, what have you. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure what the pull rates are in Japanese, but in English, for the first 2 Mega sets that we've had, it's 1 out of 1,260 packs. It's actually insane. It's the first time in Pokemon that we've seen real limited rarity on a print of a card. It's very similar to like sports cards with numbered cards. Now, again, I'm not a fan of Mega Dragonite personally. I know that it will be popular, and these gold cards are really cool, but they are actually really, really hard to pull. They are really rare. I know we'll all see TikTok clips of everybody pulling it, but the fact of the matter is it's actually really hard to pull. And then on top of that, adding that there's no booster box for this set, it's just going to be really hard to get. Number 1 is Gengar. We all saw it coming. I think that this will be the most expensive card in the set. I think the gold card will probably be close. Just again, how many can we actually pull of the Mega Dragonite? Gengar's interesting because we haven't had an alt art or SIR of Gengar since Fusion Strike. That was November of 21. So we're basically 4 years removed from a Gengar big hit like that. So I think that that's going to be definitely a big drive towards this card. It's probably going to be over $500. On release, it's probably going to have sales on eBay and TCG Player for over $1,000. Don't buy it when it's that high, but I think that this guy will be the king of Ascended Heroes. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed. I will say, do not pick these up on release day. We all know that. Don't let the FOMO get to you, all right? Now, I will be looking to pick these up about 2 weeks after the fact. Once the price settles down a little bit from its release day high, it'll drop a significant amount. Now, it still might go down there, but, you know, we buy clean cards around here. So, with that, make sure you guys join the Discord down below. Thank you for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one.